Welcome back to the Digital Simple podcast. I am your host, James. Thank you for tuning in. We have another one of our one-to-one episodes that we're recording right now. This is a really exciting one. So basically the reason or my thoughts behind recording this episode were I stalled out launching this podcast for a long time because I have really high standards in terms of production quality, and I actually just at a base did not know what to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this as like a snappy short episode that will hopefully give you everything that you would need to launch a podcast if you decided you wanted to. Obviously some of the gear and stuff like that we've bought is pretty expensive, so I'll talk you through all of that and how it all works. I'll also link it somewhere intelligently associated with where this podcast is published. I will also post a link to everything that we've got that we're really happy with. It's not finished. We've got a few things that I'll talk about in this that are on the way, like new mic arms and stuff like that. But we're really happy with how it's moving. And so I just wanted to update you guys on how we're doing that, what we're filming with, what we're recording on, etc., etc. So basically what I found before launch is that I got really confused by microphones. I got really confused by cameras. I got really confused by what costs would be involved, how important is lighting, all of that sort of thing, right? And so I went to, and shout out to them, my buddies at Lighthouse Financial. They have a really good podcast setup. I asked about what they're using. I took some of that stuff and some of that is what I'm using in this podcast. And I also just grabbed a couple of other things that we've found by testing rather than by being given advice. I'm going to start with the things that I messed up. The first one and the biggest of all of the mistakes that we made was we rented two cameras. We had a shoot on, so we couldn't use our camera that we're recording on right now the day that we recorded. So we rented two cameras. Forgive me if I'm wrong, and Luke will be able to catch this in post, but we used Canon R6s, I believe it was, for filming some of our first episodes. I recorded a couple of one-to-one episodes just straight into the camera that was sub 30 minutes, so this didn't become an issue. But a number of Canon cameras have a limit of 30 minutes of recording at a time, and then they start to frit out and become a little bit annoying. Nothing's more distracting when you're recording a podcast episode than someone creeping around in the background, restarting cameras, swapping things out, changing lenses over, doing things like that. We currently are recording this on a Canon R7. It's mint. I absolutely love it. And so we've actually ordered another one, and this will be what we record the podcast on. I believe it's reasonably priced in comparison with what I would assume a camera would cost. It does not appear to have the issue with how long it records that some of the other stuff does, so that's awesome. And yeah, all in all, just stoked with how it's going. We didn't think about how long it takes to get approved on Apple Podcasts, things like that. If you're planning on launching a podcast, register it now, start the process, get a name, stuff like that. It can take a couple of weeks. So we're live on Spotify and YouTube as of today, which is when we're publishing our first episode. We've got to wait to be across all platforms. I don't like that. Like I said, high standards. I would have liked for it to be a really nice, clean, even push. Podcast software. We started with a software called Podbean. Previously, when I had a podcast, I used Anchor FM that I believe has been bought by Spotify because it's now called Spotify for podcasters or something like that. But you can just search Anchor FM. Anchor FM is awesome. It allows you to upload video onto Spotify, do all the real flash stuff. I would start an Anchor FM account, start registering everything as soon as you know you're going to do it. I didn't plan intros, exits very nicely. We've kind of rushed through them a little bit, and arguably I've still got some work to do here. Also, just like I have some work to do on just generally asking questions and things like that to the podcast guests when they join and all that sort of stuff. But I would really think about intros and exits. It is also reasonable to record the podcast and shoot the intro afterwards. Don't write that off as an idea, because then you can really get a feel for what you go over in the episode. And in thinking about that, I think some of the real premium podcasts that are out there, that's what they do. I tried to label episodes, so like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. It's silly. All it does is make your life more complicated than it needs to be. You don't need that as a part of your intro. Just have an intro and a title that explains what's in the episode. I don't understand why you would need a number that's associated with that. I think just other people do that, and so that's what everyone else does. I tried to shoot 8 episodes in the first day. So that was 4 guest episodes, 4 one-to-one episodes in the first day. And you can see in the start of some of my later episodes just how tired I was. One of the guest episodes wound up not working because 2 of the other ones went over time. I was gassed. It wasn't the best outcome. We'll probably shoot sort of 2 to 4 episodes at a time, I think, moving forwards. These one-to-one ones aren't too taxing. It's mostly the guest ones are longer, and they take a lot more brain power because you're engaging in real time. Don't overcommit to that. And finally, mic arms. As much as I will forever have an attachment to these mic arms for being what we launched the podcast on, they don't work very well. And we have you can't see it, but a supermarket bag with sandbags on the other side of it, trying to balance it so that these mics aren't too heavy and it falls down and things like that. We've ordered some real cool Rode ones. They're called the PSA 1 Plus. They have really cool weighting. I think all the Rode stuff, like we're using Rode microphones, we use Rode for a lot of other things. I think it's super high quality. And so we've got that on the way. Things we did really well, and this is probably where you can learn a lot. Rode mics. I can't remember exactly what these ones are called, but I'll paste a link to them. Rode products are sick. They are awesome. The quality, the audio quality is fantastic. We also have a Zoom thing. The mics aren't USB mics, and we did that on purpose. We have like a mixer down there that's by a brand called Zoom, recommended to us by our buddies at Lighthouse, that performs really well as well and is exceptional for recording boatloads of audio content with essentially no battery and uses very little space on the SD card. So it makes life super easy. All you need to do is do a little clap before you start, and you can mix that in with the camera effortlessly. So mics, awesome. The acoustic panels behind me, we managed to find us 60 by 60 centimeters. We managed to find them for $5 each. The only mistake I made was I bought the last 30 that the website have, and I went back and tried to order more, and it's now a discontinued product, and so I can't get more, which is annoying because I wanted probably another 30 just to really focus on noise. But we're going to trial a different room. I think the panels will go a little bit further, and the natural acoustics in that room will be a little bit better. But I'm wrapped with these things. It was like $150 for 30 of them, and they've done an exceptional job of us converting our boardroom into a little studio without too many difficulties. So that's really good. Camera, Canon R7. We actually, as a result of the cameras that we borrowed, they had these amazing lenses attached to them. I cannot remember what it's exactly called. They were pretty expensive, but it's like a 25 to 70mm Canon lens that we added to it that we're really happy with. We invested a lot in our design piece as a part of the podcast too. We've done a logo. We're doing everything right in terms of YouTube thumbnails, social posts, all of that sort of thing, just to have like maximum credibility, premium look and feel, and that matches, I think, what we're doing from a production standpoint as well. And then finally, Anchor FM/Spotify for podcasters is brilliant. We found that as our second attempt. I only wasted $30 on Podbean, so it wasn't so bad. That's 100% the route that I would go down if you're looking to start a podcast. I will put the list of equipment below. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm super available across social medias and different things like that where you'll be able to find these episodes. So feel free to listen in. And obviously follow us along, subscribe to the podcast, all that sort of thing. And you will be able to see as we bolt in new pieces of equipment and things like that through time, what we're adding in. Keep a key eye out. But yeah, if you're thinking about kicking something off, I hope this has been really helpful. All we do for post-production is just Adobe mix, audio and camera. One more thing as well is we found an AI software that does all the editing for us, and then we just watch it through. So I will share that in the thing below. That thing's amazing. It takes about 30 seconds to edit an hour-long podcast, so that saves a huge amount of time in post. So yeah, I'll share all that stuff with you guys. Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.